Our God allows bad things to happen even to good people, even to His very own people. And it is not for us to find out why, because sometimes the Lord really does not explain why. Have you found that already? Maybe there are some of you here for 10 years already. You've been asking the Lord, why? Why? Still no answer. Di mo pa rin ba na-realize na you're asking the wrong question? It is not for us to find out why. It is for us to find out how do we respond and what is the Lord telling us out of it. How do we respond? A family lacking in finances, how do we respond to that? Losing a job, how do you respond to that? Losing a loved one, how do we respond to that? How do we continue to contend to God's great plan, for God's great plan, when we are going through difficulties and tragedy? Because many times tragedy, many times difficulty, it saps our energy, it saps our faith out. Right? But how do we really respond to that? What is the biblical perspective and the biblical advice? Verse 14 is our answer to that. Sabi doon, if my people, who among you here, you would like to claim you are the people of God, raise your hand. Of course naman, di ba? We want to be God's people. Sabi doon, ano daw ang gagawin? If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. The Lord is waiting for us to respond to Him. Then He can change the situation. But many times, we just want the Lord to change the situation without us doing our part. But this verse is God's grace for us. Sobrang clear ang instruction sa atin. Ano doon? Our response is to be, number 1, be humble. Tell your neighbor, be humble. Are you proud that you're humble? Are you proud of your humility? Humbly, bragging about your humility. So sabi doon, be humble. What is the characteristic of a humble man? A humble man, a humble woman is one who would always acknowledge his or her helplessness apart from God. A humble man is somebody who would always run to the Lord and acknowledge, Lord, apart from you, I cannot do anything. A humble man would be somebody who would say, I know what I can do. I know my talents, but I know that my talents will not be enough if you will not bless me and come with me. God is looking for people who may be struggling with humility, but will choose to respond by humbling himself and herself before the Lord. Then I will hear from heaven. Sino ang hinihintay ng Lord na mag-humble? Yung mga tao niya. Sabi mo sa katabi mo, tayo ang mauuna. Let us be the first one to humble ourselves. What's the next instruction? The next instruction is to pray. It's not just to put on the stance or the stature of humility, dependence on the Lord. But that dependence should lead us to prayer. What is prayer? Prayer is calling unto the Lord. Prayer is not something complicated or difficult. Prayer is being in the presence of God, talking to Him and calling upon Him. Actually, these two words come together, being humble and being prayerful. And it also follows that if a person is not humble, that person usually is not prayerful. Because if you're humble and you feel your dependence on the Lord, you feel helpless without the Lord, you will really pray. Who among you have experienced that? You're going through something or you're about to face something and you realize it's difficult. Naging prayerful ka eh. Right?